Alright. Weekend's up. 2 movies down. I don't know what happened there, but let's get into them. Okay. First movie I watched this weekend was Steven Spielberg's 2021 adaptation of West Side Story. I gotta be honest. One thing held it back for me. It wasn't the acting. Everyone played their part perfectly. It wasn't the music. Almost every single song in this movie was remarkable. The set design, the costumes, every single thing there was great. However, this is going to be a massive hot take for literature fans, but I am just not a fan of the Romeo and Juliet story. Where this is supposed to have that kind of story in it. And while it does work in this story, it just makes the film feel so slow when we're not encountering the other characters outside of Tony and Maria. Any time the movie takes a step back from the romance, it works incredibly. However, it is the Romeo and Juliet aspect of it that knocks it down a couple points for me. Again, the acting was incredible. The music was outstanding. The set design, costume design, the script was just remarkable. But I cannot overlook the story aspect of this. Romeo and Juliet, you're going to get some more. When I was in high school, I read 3 Shakespeare stories: Romeo and Juliet, Julius Caesar, and Macbeth. Romeo and Juliet was by far the least interesting of the bunch. And honestly, if West Side Story could have altered it to make it feel less like that, but because of that flaw, I gotta give it a 7 out of 10. Again, part of this movie was incredible, but I just couldn't get behind the love story at the heart of it. Now, one love story I could get behind was the story of Fatherhood. Kevin Hart plays a widower who, after losing his wife, finds himself having to raise their daughter on his own. He does get help from family and friends, but overall, he realizes that he is ill-equipped, and that ultimately makes him realize he can do this. Okay. Kevin Hart, for the most part, has one note with his acting, and that's Kevin Hart. You watch this movie, that doesn't show. You don't see Kevin Hart. You see a man learning to be a good father. And frankly, that hits so much harder than anything else you could see in another movie like this. Honestly, everyone pulled their weight in such a tremendous fashion that it makes it difficult to overlook just how emotional it is. I mean, hell, this movie belongs to Kevin. And yes, everyone else could have been recast and their roles could have been done just as well. But I don't think this would have worked if you didn't have, Kevin freaking Hart in the lead role. It is a deeply moving film that just doesn't miss. This movie got a little over 60 on Rotten Tomatoes, which is too low. For me, this is one of the best dramas I've seen this year. And it is all because of the dynamic between these two. 9 out of 10. If you haven't seen this, the thing is right down there. It tells you where to watch it. Yeah. Go watch Fatherhood and tell me that Kevin Hart isn't a good actor. Alright, that's the end of this week. I will be posting during the actual week, but stay tuned for this coming weekend where we get 2 more, possibly 3 movies. And that should be a hint as to what I might be planning to do. As always, I am Deadly Destruct. Y'all stay interesting.